fun. Zeros, ones, the code is tight. Building dreams in the neon. Frank's World. Quantum leaps, AI streams. Frank's World. It's the dream. It's the dream.
Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good evening, even, because we live on a spinning rock orbiting a giant fusion reactor. My name is Frank Lavinia, and I'm unusually philosophical today and kind of sore. So on Friday, oh, yeah, I clicked that wrong. So on Friday, we had a bit of a kind of snowstorm, ice storm here in the hinterlands of the Baltimore suburbs. And the local school system said, no, you know what? We're not going to do a delayed opening or anything. And I was driving down, and we had extremely icy conditions. And I basically couldn't stop the car no matter what I did. I tried everything. Brakes were, they were mechanically okay, but the slipperiness of the road just was not cooperating. And I ended up hitting another car. She's okay from what I gather. Everyone in my car is okay. I had my two youngest in the car and my dog in the car. We're a little, shaken, little sore. I haven't had the X-rays looked at, or they didn't tell me what the results of the X-rays. So a lot of craziness happened on Friday. And I don't want to be one of those guys that shows off their like wounds, but on the other side of this thumb, it's a pretty nasty cut. And it was as bad as it was, could have been worse. I mean, up to and including flipping the car. I mean, it was bad, but it could have been worse. And that got me thinking. One big shout out to the Good Samaritan who did stop because and help coordinate, help for the other driver, because I was kind of shell shocked, honestly, like for a few minutes, which is apparently pretty normal. I was definitely shell shocked the rest of the day, and let's not lie. But he pulled over. It's like, do you need help? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like at the time, my hand was like all swollen and bleeding. So, and I'm like this. I hadn't lighted up, and I remember really being more concerned about the kids and the dog than myself. I knew I was more or less alert and oriented, and then immediately kind of like the EMT training like kind of flapped back in. And long story short, it was a stressful situation, right? And any circumstance that is a stressful situation, it's a high stress scenario. But what made it worse was the fact that the car. So shout out to you, Carson, for stopping. But the third part of this is terrible UX design. Well, one, the car. It was a Honda CRV, which normally handles really well in the snow. Like it's all-wheel drive, blah 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 blah. And it was a relatively new car. I love that car, but the car gave its, protected us, did its job. I guess there's a thing called Honda Assist, and this is one of the things you set up when you buy the car. When you first get it, shiny and new. But the first thing it did, it said, "Hey, this is Honda Assist, and if you're ever in an accident, it will help you call the police." So this car is actually my wife's daily driver these days, now that she commutes down to the office. And unfortunately, she hadn't that day. So I call, as the airbag deploys, right? And you have that moment of like, what the hell's going on? And then the car is like, telling me, like in a Captain Obvious kind of helpful AI voice, you know, we detected that the airbag's gone off. Do you need assistance? And then I'm like, what the hell? And then it repeats and repeats and repeats. And then it's like, oh, you're not connected to the Bluetooth because I'm like, okay. And I was like, but it kept repeating that and it kept getting louder and louder and louder and louder. Now, at the time, um, my 3-year-old was screaming in his car seat because he had no idea what was going on, right? Totally normal reaction. Um, my 10-year-old was pretty brave. He's like, I'm okay. And, and then the dog was like looking around like, what the hell, man? Like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, all right, let me get, and of course, this happened where there's no cell phone signal. So if the cell phone signal is so weak, if I get a signal at all, the car basically acts like a Faraday cage. So I had to go outside the car and call the cops and call 911 and all that. And the car kept saying, repeating that phrase, we detected the airbag has gone off. Would you like us to call emergency services? Oh, wait, I can't call emergency services because you don't have a Bluetooth phone. Please connect the Bluetooth to the phone. And like he kept repeating that, repeating that, repeating that, repeating that. Now my nervous system is already on edge because, the accident. But honestly, I understand why they would repeat the phrase because people were, could be rendered unconscious and it could take them a few minutes to kind of like come up. But in this instance, it was terrible because it kept getting louder, or at least to me, it seemed like it was getting louder. I don't know if that's actually part of the design, but it kept getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And the kids are screaming. I can barely get a cell phone signal. I'm trying to talk to the 911 dispatcher. And at one point, I'm like, will somebody shut that effing car up? And the guy in the thing, I'm not you. The car just keeps telling me that there's been an accident, and I'm like, by this point, I figured it out. I don't know what the better answer is, but clearly, this was something that was not tested in all scenarios, right? This is very clearly a logic fail, right? And I get it. Like, had I been unconscious, having it repeat, getting louder and louder, might actually be helpful, right? I totally get that. Now, in this scenario, it did not. It actually kind of backfired. Now, as I say this out loud, and I kind of have some temporal distance, that's the $5 word for the day, for time, away from the accident, I realized like maybe the benefits of somebody being knocked unconscious and having this repeated um, outweighs my irritation, right? Um, oh, thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're okay. My thumb is actually I can move it again today, so Uh, other than being a little sore, a little grumpier than usual, I'm okay. You know, my shoulder's a little bit angry at me still, but these things happen. But maybe my inconvenience and my agitation is something. This is what I want to know, and I think this really dovetails nicely into kind of the importance of open source. Believe it or not, because I was talking to a friend of mine Friday night or Saturday when he called. I was like, man, the UX design of this is just terrible, right? Well, one, obviously, a lot of factors went into this, right? And I have to go in a few minutes because I have to. Speaking of terrible UX, um, my insurance company was like, hey, tell us, where the accident. So it was cool actually. Like you had this 3D model of the car, the market model because of the police report of the car. But it's like, where's the car now? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. They pulled me into the ambulance and me and the kids in the ambulance and the tow truck took it away, right? In fact, the only thing I could think of at the time was I didn't ask like, where is the car or where's it being towed to? I asked, get the dog out of the car, right? And then eventually somebody brought the dog into the ambulance. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of if I could go somewhere, I know it sounds completely ridiculous. I see I dropped the user since I mentioned open source, so which I think is kind of funny. Could be coincidence. Um, is I can understand the rationale. If the rationale is, hey, look, Frank, yeah, I know this thing beeping at you and reminding you and keep saying it over and over and over and over again, louder and louder and louder. Yes, Frank, that did annoy you. But in scenarios where somebody's unconscious at the wheel or semi-conscious or really out of it, repeating it is really kind of key to the process. Now, how they expect somebody who is kind of groggy or semi-conscious to go and connect to Bluetooth so they can call the police. I don't know, man. Someone's got to explain that one to me. But again, I can't go to a GitHub page and kind of read the rationale. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at the Honda website. Maybe there is some kind of thing about that. But and again, I had the luxury of being nitpicky about this, right? Because the crumple zone worked, the crumple zone crumbled, the airbag deployed. Um, uh, Other than the airbag parts of the, I guess, steering wheel cover smack in my hand and leaving, I basically, my wound looks like a part of the Honda logo is actually embedded into my hand. And then somebody said, even your logo, even your injuries have branding, which I thought was kind of funny. Um, I'll take it as a compliment, but I don't know. And this is the type of thing I never would have thought of, right? Before. So I don't know. I think that I don't know. Like honestly, and at that point, honestly, anything would have agitated me, right? The kid crying was very concerning, but the EMT assured me that this is normal for kids to just freak out. Fortunately, he's in the Paw Patrol, so when the firefighter came with the whole regalia and stuff like that, bright orange or bright reflective stuff. He was, freaking out, and I was like, no, no, he works with the humans part of the Paw Patrol, and then he kind of calmed down and started telling the guy all about his favorite Paw Patrol characters, which was like one, he calmed down right away, which is good, and two, meant that he was pretty much okay, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. And if anyone from Honda or anyone who works in kind of the automobile safety kind of world, or not so much like the crumple zone design or anything like that, but kind of like the UX of the car system saying things, I'd like to know. Like, I have questions. Like, did you even think about this, or was this kind of like an edge case? I don't know. But thank you, Josh. Yeah, it was a wild day. And I'll tell you this, man. If it's below freezing, I am not driving on that hill. No more. No, 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 no. If it's below freezing, or if there's a single snowflake in the air, I am not driving on that hill again. Um, no matter what, I have to get a replacement car, which is also not the most fun experience in the world, is car shopping. Um, but you bet your bottom dollar that I will be getting something that again also has all-wheel drive. But again, I guess even all-wheel drive isn't perfect, right? I mean, I had no ability to stop, right? Like, I did everything in my power, like humanly possible, to stop that car, and it just wouldn't, like, it just wouldn't respond. And that was terrifying. That was like only about 15 seconds, but it was 15 seconds of sheer terror. And then like the final like second of, oh, I see the car coming, like, and there's nothing I can do. Like, that was very that, and the smell of the airbag. There's a very unique smell there. Maybe that's also intentional, right? Because it's not quite like smelling salts, but I don't know. But anyway, I'm okay. The normal kind of production schedule of the Impact Quantum advent calendar. The advent calendar was kind of pre-done in advance, and basically anything that happened Friday or Saturday was pretty much automated stuff that I had already scheduled, right? So yay for automation. But I don't think I got 2 articles out, which in the cosmic scheme of things, I think Candace wrote something. So, you know, yeah, a lot of, you know, deep thinking I did this weekend. So anyway, with that in mind, I got to run. I got to call the insurance company, go to work, all that stuff. Doctor said I'm probably okay. He said, I'm probably not going to feel myself for a couple weeks. So, you know, feeling myself is one thing. Everything hurting when I move, that's another one. My Christmas gift will be I can walk around without hurting, or move my arm without hurting. But honestly, just having the kids okay, I'm good with that. All right. So normally, it's a much more fun experience on Frank's World. If this is your first time tuning in, today was a little different. Just want to let everyone know I'm okay. Everyone's okay. Even the dog seems to be okay. Right. Um, with that, I'll end the show.